How's it going today, guys? So it's kind of super windy out today, and hopefully this video comes through. I kind of got myself in a little bit of trouble here because, well, picked up some more bikes. So one of the guys that works in our tooling department said, I happened to be talking to him, and he said, well, I got a couple old bikes that just sit in my barn. Why don't you come by and look at them? So I did. Well, and I ended up with these two Cowies. One is like a 100cc high-low bike. I don't know which model it is. I haven't quite looked at it, the head stem there. And then the other one I did look at because he wasn't sure what it was, but we knew it was a Cowie, and it is actually an F11. Not sure which year. 29,000. I think it's a later one. This is the, it's either, I think it says 70, it's a 74. So this isn't the first bike F11 I've owned. This is actually now the third one I've owned. Probably the worst conditioned one. You can see it's been sitting in a barn so long that I'm not going to touch that much more because it's going to scratch up the plastic. The 100's in parts here in this bucket, so I got that going for me. It's also got a wasp. The other thing was, when we got these, he said, well, you got to take this motor because it's just sitting there. So now I have a 550 CB motor with exhaust pipes, well, the down pipes, as well as a little Yamaha. What am I going to do with that? I don't know. And a rototiller. Why a rototiller? Well, the rototiller was in front of the two Kawasaki's in his barn, and he said, you got to take it because he moved it out of the way. So here we are with a bunch of bikes. What am I going to do with this? Well, I don't know much about the F11. I know it kicks over. The front brakes are locked up on it though, so that's kind of a little frustrating. Hard to move. Frustrating. The 100, well, it rolls, but the engine's disassembled over here in a bucket. And the story goes on that was he'd been riding it, had a bottom end knock, so he took it into a local motorcycle shop. Not the one that's still around, one that's now out of business. And they bought a brand new rod and piston for it, one piece. He said this was pre-internet days. The guy put it in and didn't put the head on. And so when the guy got these bikes from, he said he turned it over and that connecting rod went up into where the head should be. So he, a little too long of a stroke. So he just parked it and hadn't messed with it since. And by the amount of dust, I would assume it's been a couple days. So kind of a weekend update of what I got going on now. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with all this stuff now. I got some exhaust pipes up there as well. Hopefully one's for this 100. I really like 250s. I've never really rode a Enduro 250. I've always had I've rode my trials bike, but that's first and second gear are super low, and third gear is first gear for most bikes. So will I get around to it? Will I not? I don't know. At this point, I'm just gonna push it aside because I got a bazillion projects. And right now, I need to get back to welding up my KD 175 because I got about 5 weeks to go before Memorial Day weekend and that race. So this is just a update on some of the interesting projects I have and some of the luck I got, I should say, because you don't find these bikes every day, but it's kind of lucky, so I'm thankful for that. So I got the really expensive barn dust washed off these barn finds, and what it turns out I have is a 74 F11 with, I think, is a TS something fuel tank on it, because that's not a Kawasaki fuel tank. That's a Suzuki, or possibly Yamaha, but it looks a little bit like Suzuki. And a 73 Kawasaki G4TR. With that being said, I looked at all the stuff I have for the G4TR, and it looks like I might be missing some of the transmission pieces, as well as the crankshaft and connecting rod and piston. So I'll have to scavenge that. This is going to be a long-term build. I have, if you watched any of my channel, you know I have a lot of bikes, but I will say this bike's mid-range mileage, so might as well rebuild it. It's missing some parts. I think these are used pretty heavily, so I don't think this handlebar's straight over here. I think it's tilted back a little bit. And I guess we got to get some belly rubs in. Now the F11, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it quite yet. I'll probably just put it out back. I'll try to gather parts for it, or gather parts. We're getting some pets in today. I don't know, just see what I'm going to do with it. It turns over. I put spark plugs in it because it had no spark plugs, and someone's taken off the nut for the flywheel there. But yeah, it rolls. It's better than when I got it. We drug it out of the barn. The front brake was locked up on it, so that was a little rough. But yeah, I got that worked loose. Basically, I just loosened the cable and sprayed it with some PB Blaster and gave it a couple whacks with a hammer, and it broke loose. So anyways, that's where we're at. A little update on some barn finds. I doubt I'll get to them anytime soon, but they'll be sitting here. I'll start collecting parts here and there. So, all right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more random junk showing up here.